someone said a couple weeks ago a rapper is going to die from this culture, and sure
Oh,
enough, the first victim, Lil Peep, has died.
Lil Peep. Well, I'm sorry that he died. Nobody should die. But we really need to look at this epidemic of drug abuse, and that's what everybody seems to like to call it, as something that's not just words to be used like an epidemic of drug. It's bad. It kills you.
Yep.
Not only does it not kill you, it distorts your sense of reality. We had this guy in Utah going around, he and killed the Asian kid for the car. They planned all that. We're gonna hijack a car, make the guy drive us all to Tennessee or something like that, and then we'll kill him. He already killed the people that he was partying with, him and his girlfriend and stuff, earlier in the week at some place. This is all survival skills for drugs. You know, that's all that was. Well, we got to get to Tennessee, so let's hijack a car, use up the person's money, and do all this stuff, and then kill him.
Wow.
I mean, this is the mentality that comes with this drug stuff. And you can try to rationalize it, and you can try to intellectualize it, and you can try to put all these spins on it because the drugs now are situated in the white community, and everybody doesn't want to come to the fact that, yeah, this is still the culture of drugs. These people that are perpetrating these crimes like that, they're from that community.
Yep.
They just can't live there anymore because they have to go get the drugs. So they're down in the cities, and they're not street smart. They don't know how to act in the streets, so they do violent type of things, house break-ins, holding people hostages, killing, anything to get the money to get the drugs, because that's the nature of the drugs. And if you want to pretend that it's a disease and all these things like this, go ahead. But this that's not going to change the result of that behavior. That's a streetwise behavior from somebody who does not know how to survive on the streets of the city. Yeah?
Well, a lot of these guys now want to live like the rock stars of the '80s, like the Aerosmiths, like the Bon Jovis, like the rock stars of the '80s, and
Pocket Hill Avenue party.
Yep.
Down to Mission Hill.
And they want to.
Got a party.
Yeah, that's what.
Remember that.
But that's what they want to do. They want to live a life where they go do their music and they want to party 24 hours a day.
Yeah, they like party.
And it takes a toll on your life. You can't do it. So a lot of these guys, they're dealing with depression. They're dealing with being unfulfilled because living that life on the road and not having anybody, it really takes a toll on you. So they turn to drugs. And those drugs that they turn to are very dangerous.
Oh, turn them inside out. My friend was bodyguard with those guys for a while like that. He said, they did after all night long. He finally had to get out the business of bodyguarding the musical industry because he got older. He's not partying. He's standing there doing nothing while these people are just acting the fool, and he's got to protect them all night long into the daylight hours.
And it's not necessarily protecting them only from dangers. You have to protect them from themselves.
Exactly.
If they're drinking and they're stumbling, or they're drinking and they almost get into a fight with somebody. All of these things that they do on their own, you have to protect them from.
That's mostly what he had to do, is babysitting after the show.
Babysitting, exactly.
Babysitting during the show, babysitting before the show. So, no, I ain't working with you.
And that's what they did with their, that's what a lot of bodyguards have to do, and that's what a lot of these rappers now they want to do. They are attracted to that life of being rock stars, and it takes people's lives. Now, Lil Peep was only 21 years old.
Yeah.
So his fan base were all young people. And all the young people listen to his music and listen to him talk about taking drugs and taking Xanax. How do you get Xanax?
On the street, you
I
get
guess
anything
so.
you want on the street.
Well, he was good at it because he
Yeah.
definitely had his fair share. On Instagram, took pictures of himself popping pills and saying "F it" while he had two pills on his tongue and just kept taking them over and over again. And he even said things like "Xanax is the only thing that makes me happy." He really was engulfed, and he really was, his whole life encompassed these drugs.
Where are your parents? Where were his parents?
I
I don't
don't
care how
know.
much rock star you his parents. We got to bring back the ability to beat your kid. That's still your 21-year-old kid. Go punch him in. You should have punched him in the mouth and said, "What are you doing, fool?"
Not only was he 21, but he was 21 and famous, world
Yeah.
renowned famous.
Yeah, but
Uh,
still, like somebody should have talked to him. What do you think? Don't do that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Bobby tried, and then they say, well, get out, go on and live your life and stuff like that. But pay for everything of mine.
Yep. A spokesman for the Tucson, Arizona Police Department told CNN that police were called just before 9 p.m., 11 on Eastern Time, Wednesday night after Lil Peep was found unresponsive by his manager in his tour bus, and said that first responders rendered medical aid, but they were unable to save him. After speaking with people on the scene and going into the tour bus, police said there was evidence of a possible drug overdose, most likely from Xanax. Obviously, we're not medical examiners, so there will be an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death, adding that there was no sign of any kind of foul play, and police are treating it as a suspicious death case, most likely from an overdose. The Long Island rapper and singer blended emo and hip hop for a distinctive singing and rapping style, which often highlighted his drug use. Have you ever heard of the term emo?
I thought that was one of them little characters on the on Sesame Street or something.
That's Elmo.
Oh, that's Elmo?
Yeah, Elmo. No, emo is a dark, kind of like depressed, moody culture. If you like, you ever see the kids walking down the street and they have like the spiked hair and the lot of black mascara on,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be boys and they wear them baggy pants. Yeah, those are people of what you would consider to be emo, and he made his music to garner towards the emo culture, and the boy was crazy.
That culture sounds like I don't know anything about that culture, so I can't really comment on that culture.
Yep.
I see the kids nowadays, and they got a whole litany of different cultures out here now for the kids. It's kind of interesting.
That's the millennials.
Yeah, and they're pretty much bored.
Yep.
From what I see, they're bored.
Is it bored or is it too much information?
I think they got too much information and it shorted out their brain or something
Yep.
like that. Cause now they're just bored, depressed. People are being depressed that aren't depressed. The word just rolls off the tongue so easily that they become depressed. They look, I'm depressed. So they look for all the symptoms and they take the symptoms and juxtapose them on this and stick them on here and stick them on there. And you can find them because they have so many different things about depression now. So, and that people, that I don't believe a lot of the people that are depressed are really depressed. I believe that in most cases they're bored.
I agree to an extent. What I think the problem is now is that we have so much information to our fingertips on how the real world is. You remember, you used to be able to shield your kids from the real world happenings. Like, my mother, she wouldn't let us watch the news. She wouldn't let us watch certain TV shows. She wouldn't let us. Now, we have all that stuff, access to all that stuff on our cell phones.
Yeah.
So we can, if we find out, for example, let's say one rapper gets shot and the video's on YouTube. It takes us 30 seconds to get on YouTube and find it and then watch it. And then when you fill your brain up with all of those images of death and destruction and politics and President Trump and all of that stuff, that's you get that can drive a person literally crazy. That's why I think we have a lot of these shootings and stuff going on now that we have. Not related news, but the shooter in California. Did you know that he was unable to buy weapons?
Yeah.
So what he did was he bought pieces
Yeah.
of weapons and put them together to make guns.
Yeah.
He had to go online and figure out how to do all that stuff. It's too much information. We're being fed too much, and we need better coping mechanisms. And when we don't have good coping mechanisms, we self-medicate.
Yeah.
Some of us self-medicate by working out a lot. Some of us self-medicate by taking Xanax. Some of us self-medicate by getting into electronics. People desperately find ways to self-medicate these days because it's so much trauma to look at what's going on in the news. It's amazing that our ongoing our ongoing discussion or bet is, who are we going to go to World War III with first?
Yeah.
Israel or North Korea? And we have every day it's new information, I'm winning.
Yes,
New information, I'm winning. We're headed towards the world, the destruction of a lot of people, the death of a lot of people, and we're sitting here talking about who's gonna win, who's gonna win. All that bombs coming for us, but I won.
Well, you can't watch football.
Right, you can't. I can't watch football because of Kaepernick.
So yeah. I agree with the whole thing, but you know, one thing that stuck out to me most in that thing, you kept using the word medicate.
Yep.
That association points directly towards drugs.
Yep.
And that's how we think.
Right.
So it's all right for us to do drugs and everything, you know.
In this society.
Because we're depressed, and we're only doing this to end our depression.
And it's a big business.
It's a big business.
And that big business advertises and it uses the media to advertise and tell us that whenever something's wrong, we have to find a specific pill to take care of whatever it is that's wrong.
And it's more than that too. You can't, the pharmaceuticals just can't sell pills for just willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why opiates and all that, it become a disease.
Mm-hmm.
The pills are to combat the disease of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Opioids addiction is not a disease.
Okay.
It's a choice, but you can't sell to a choice. So they have to make it a disease.
Okay.
So not everybody got a disease
Mm-hmm.
of drug addiction.
Yeah.
And they die. You know?
Oh man, so we have unfortunately ways of self-medicating, and I think we just have to do like you do and working out and finding more healthy ways to medicate or healthy ways to cope with these and take a break from social media too. Unplug.
I don't even know how to use my. I can say hello. I can look at the Facebook thing. I don't even know sometimes if I post stuff, if it goes any place, because they cheap upgrade the thing. It's like, stop upgrading my phone. I can't understand it now. Why you want to give me more things to confuse me?
Right.
Most I use my phone, I got a lot of books on there that I read. So I read a lot of books, and I say hello on it, and the email comes on it, and I like to get rid of the email because it's all advertisements.
Right.
It's all, it's like, I don't know how to open Messenger. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why it doesn't open. So, I don't know, the technology of today is somewhat way over my head when it comes to things as simple as using the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, because this is just me. One of the things I like to do, and I've been doing this for many, many, many years, and I got this thing from because when I was going to school for anthropology, I liked Levi Strauss.
Mm-hmm.
And Strauss too, he said he read Scientific America and from cover to cover. That's what he did. You know, that was one of the magazines that he liked to read from cover to cover. So I followed suit, and I read the Science magazine from cover to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the stuff I ain't got a clue what's going on when they get into the research part of it. But the beginning of it, there's like 50 pages and stuff like that. I get information of things that are coming in the future. There's projections of coming in the future and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I may not understand all the things that are coming there, but gradually I'm beginning to develop. It ain't even gradual anymore. It was gradual. I'm beginning to develop more and more an awareness what's happening, and I'm able to see it now.
Yep.
And make really intellectual conversations with it, which is kind of hard because I don't know many people who just read science magazines.
Right. But see, even reading science magazines could be scary to read too.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times they predict the end of the world, or if we don't start doing this, meteorites can hit the planet in 2 years, stuff like that. But take this story for example, Troop, right? I consider myself to be a African American pastor.
Okay.
And I'm just going over the news, and someone just sent this to me. 3 Ohio pastors indicted on child sex trafficking conspiracy. Black pastors, black men, trafficking kids. A 3rd Ohio pastor has been indicted on sex trafficking charges.
Stone him. Some say it.
And prosecutors say all 3 men worked together to entice underage girls with money in exchange for sex. A federal grand jury in Toledo has indicted Reverend Cordell Jenkins and Reverend Anthony Hayes and Reverend Kenneth Butler on conspiracy to sex traffic children. All 3 men pled not guilty Tuesday. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Haynes began grooming a 14-year-old girl for prostitution in 2014. Prosecutors said Haynes introduced her to other men, and all 3 of the pastors sexually assaulted her. Jenkins and Haynes were previously indicted on child sex trafficking charges in July. An attorney representing Jenkins tells the news her client understands he is facing very serious allegations. I read stuff like that, Troop, and it drives me nuts.
It would drive me nuts too. Stone them.
They should be stoned to death, Troop.
I like that. Stone them.
That's right. If it was up to me, they would be stoned to death.
Oh, I agree. Anybody, really, I said it before. Anybody messing around with children and stuff like that, stone them.
But this isn't just anybody. These are reverends. These are people that are supposed to be leaders of the community, leaders of a church body, followers of Christ. They are making church people look bad. So you know what atheists are going to do? They're going to say, oh yeah, look at how, God ain't real. Look at how his followers are acting.
Everybody's can't blame any of this on God, These are some perpetrators. They're predators.
Yep.
Predators come in all shapes, forms, colors, and stuff like that.
They do.
And the sad part about all these predators are, you know who the predators are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody knows something.
Mm-hmm.
But you get into, I can't get involved in something like that because they're afraid. I think there's a lot of fear out there, even though people are posturing like this, some kind of super bad or anything like that. There's a lot of fear out there. If you see something bad, at least call the police.
Right. Don't
shut your windows and doors or peek out like this with your little phone up here to take pictures. I don't know how to use the picture thing. But, the thing, all these videos and stuff, call the police. You got a phone in your head.
And
dial the number.
But you see, Troop, something like that bothers. So that stuff like that doesn't bother you, does it?
But
the story, like, so what? They bother you, but I mean, they don't bother you to the point where you lose sleep at night or where you feel deeply concerned about it.
I'm not going to lose sleep at night for incidences.
Right.
I would lose sleep at night because this world, I don't care. I'm selfish. It's mine.
Okay.
This is my world. This is where I'm living at this time. And there's a whole lot of enjoyment and entertainment out there for me. And people are just ruining this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I find very, very difficult to do is that's why I come in and have a show with you. We talk before the show, after the show, during the show. I get a conversation.
Yep.
You don't get conversations anymore. Get a dialogue type of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You get people's narratives on sadness, on depression,
Mm-hmm.
how the if you're talking to a group of blacks, how evil the white man is. You're talking to a group of white. How come the blacks think the whites are evil? It's like I ain't got time for all this.
Right.
There's some fun out there. I need to be. My fun's more eclectic than everybody. I have to admit that. I think it's great fun to run up a mountain or run in Death Valley. This is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or cross the Grand Canyon. I like a little bit different fun than everybody else, but it seems to be a growing trend that Tough Mudder's a billionaire enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Billions
Yeah.
enterprise to go play in the mud.
Right.
So maybe there's something coming on with this, but the people that I know, all they do is sit around and complain all day long about something. And that's what drives me crazy, because they're filling up all my space with nothing but this
Negativity. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
So, yeah, I've been down the past couple days. I deal with depression from time to time, and I was dealing with a little bout of it. And you told me to go out and go for a walk and everything. And I just went to the store with the wife, and we laughed and we had fun. And I did feel a little bit better when we came back. But it's hard when you're exposed to this much stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And
So we can't internalize that stuff.
yes.
But this is a way where, for me, you're doing something about it in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
You should take great the word man right out of my silly little head, but solace in that, or something that you're actually doing something about it, and not just in a small way. Just on radio, so we're reaching millions and millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing something about that. You're doing something about that in your church and stuff. I mean, you're physically doing something. Most people aren't doing anything about anything.
Nope.
They're not caring about God. They're not doing anything about they only care about their own self.
Right.
Thanksgiving's coming and everybody's thinking about Christmas.
Yep.
It's like, can we get through one?
And they're not even thinking about Christmas. They're thinking about Black Friday.
Yeah.
Then Christmas.
Yeah. It's like, really? It's like Thanksgiving. Ain't you going to take time out to give thanks for all the things that you have or don't have, or you want, or anything like that, or just for the fact that you're breathing air?
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna give thanks for any of that stuff? Nope. Gonna put my Christmas list together and put it out on all the walls at everybody's house so they buy me something.
All right. So we have a lot of people turning to depression, and a lot of people turning to self-medication by way of drugs and things like that. Working out is one positive way.
Oh yeah.
What other ways do you think a person can help deal with the stresses? So no, we have two ways. We came up with two. One was working out. Another one was working out, taking a walk, taking a break from it, and then unplugging from social media.
That's about all you need. Working out isn't for everybody. Not at first.
I disagree.
Extreme
working out for you. Extreme working out isn't for everybody. Your type of workout. But getting out and going for a walk, a speed walk, is working out, and everybody can do that.
See, getting out and going for a walk is should be getting out and going for a walk.
Right. Yep. And a lot of people can go for a walk or even exercise with their arms. When you take in a lot of information like that, you get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, sometimes the best way to get rid of that frustration is to burn it off. You need to burn it off by way of burning calories. A lot of people, they get upset, they get frustrated, they fight with their husband or wife, or they have a problem with their kids, and what do? They go to the gym and go to the punching bag and punch that anger and frustration out. get rid of all of it.
The
And
bag yesterday.
yeah, see, getting rid of that bag is a good way to get rid of some of that frustration. And the same way, it doesn't have to be punching a bag. You can go for a walk. You can go for a run. A lot of people go for a real strenuous runs where they are like, they are really full stride running.
They can do that.
Yep. There's a lot of ways and a lot of things you can do to get over the stressful hump of dealing with the frustrations of what's going on in the news. A texter says yoga and meditation works for me. Yoga is a good thing. That's taken the world by storm over the past decade or so.
Yeah, the words I heard the most out of that is works for me.
Yep.
That's what you should. If it works for you, do it.
Yep.
If you like throwing paint against the wall,
Mm-hmm.
don't paint against the wall.
Not in my house.
No.
Don't tell my kids that. They get in trouble.
I mean, whatever works for you in divorcing yourself from whatever's making you anxious,
Triggering
at the time. Yeah, that triggers you. And when I say go for a walk, it's not go for a walk to alleviate whatever it is that's triggering you,
Mm-hmm.
or to think about the solution to what's triggering you. Leave all that stuff back there.
Yep.
Just go on out there, breathe some air, take a walk, or go meditate or do anything, but don't meditate about the problem.
Right. One thing I tell my congregation at church is a lot of times they'll bring their stress to the church.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll leave it at the door. And then they'll go inside. And then
pick it
have
up.
church. And then when it's time to leave, they pick it right back up, put it right back on their back, and then walk away. No, you're supposed to leave. Cast all your cares on the Lord is what it says in the Bible. You're supposed to leave it all there. Bring it to church with you and leave it there. Don't pick it back up and bring it home with you. That's what a lot of people do. But if that works for you, whatever works for you, you're right. Find whatever works for you.
Just sit, yeah.
And focus on that.
And then, don't build in excuses for not doing it. That seems to be a European, American type of thing. We build these excuses in, I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you have time. What are you doing? I'm looking at Facebook right now.
Right.
Okay.
Especially in New England.
Yeah.
New Englanders are known for not having time.
Yeah.
Oh, I just didn't have the time. I just didn't have the time. New York is known as the city that never sleeps. Don't have the time. I'm just busy. Yep.
And in some cases, there are some points in your life that you'll be pressed for time.
Yep.
That's just to give it. But say you're a student, and you got, I don't know, I've been a student in college since 72, I think I started in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been going ever since. And I've watched a big change in college. When I was in college in 72, you took 4 courses, you're carrying 16 to 20 books.
Yep.
Every course came with 5 or 6 books. Yep. Now you take, 5 courses, you got 5 books.
Yep. Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's like, okay.
Even in Bible school, I had to carry a couple books per class. It definitely wasn't one. I know that.
Yeah, so things have changed like that. So are the stresses still there? The stresses are studying for a midterm. When you got 5 books that you got to go through and you got to glean out all this information and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like this, is a lot different than the going through one book and then looking up something on the internet.
Right.
It's not as difficult as it once was.
Yep.
I don't think so anyway. Maybe after years of going to college, I finally got a little bit of way of doing it.
Yep. So find whatever works for you and
do it.
And do it. Just do it.
And another thing, if you're lucky enough to have a spouse, and talk to them.
Yep.
And I would suggest you talk to them twice a day.
Right.
Once in the morning and once in the evening.
And don't make the mistake of talking to them only about your problems.
No, don't talk about your problems.
Don't be a source of stress.
Yeah.
You can talk to them about your problems, but you're supposed to talk to them about everything. An indication of a healthy marriage is when someone says, "Oh, I talk to my wife about everything," or "I talk to my husband about everything." That means a good, and the bad.
And one of the things I think that works best when you're talking to your spouse is everything about the things you don't understand. It's your spouse, so you kind of got an idea what they might understand. So, but not like, well, you know, honey, I just really don't understand the mechanics of of this microphone.
Right.
You know, because she doesn't care about that. So we don't go. But you know, you just say, you know, I was just thinking, or I saw this on TV, or I read this in the paper about the different ways of, and I know you're gonna say I'm sexist now, of making chicken soup. You know? So you ask it, wait, how did you grow up with chicken soup? And then you want to talk about chicken soup. You know, this is how my grandmother used to make chicken soup and stuff. And this, you know, I'm just using that as an example, not as anything. But talk to them about something like that, something that's neutral, something that either she asked the question or the guy asked the question.
Yep.
So that you get feedback, you get a dialogue going back and forth, and this alleviates stress.
Yep.
You know, and then eventually when they come with their stressful problems and everything, you got a better idea of where their head's at too. So you got a better idea to give them some maybe something that might help, or at least something that won't hurt.
Well, true. You know who needs help today?
Who's that?
Men. We are in trouble. We've been getting in trouble for everything that we've been doing the past 20, 30, 40 years, man.
This is crazy.
Paying for it. Man. Sylvester Stallone, Rocky. Adrian. Responds to allegations that he assaulted and threatened a 16-year-old when he was 40. Now Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, has been accused of sexually assaulting a female in 1986. What is it with 1986? Dustin Hoffman was in 1986. Kevin Spacey is allegedly raped someone in 1986. What was happening in 1986 in Hollywood where all of these women were being attacked?
Maybe the world didn't explode in 1984. Was it 1984? The whole world book?
Oh, world, yeah.
maybe they were feeling good.
I guess. Sylvester Stallone is denying the report that claimed he had inappropriate sexual contact with a woman in 1986 in a Las Vegas hotel room when she was 16. The Rocky actor spoke out against the story, which was based on a decades-old police report obtained and published by the Daily Mail. He replied, "This is ridiculous. Categorically false story. No one was ever aware of this story until it was published today, including Mr. Stallone. At no time was Mr. Stallone ever contacted by authorities or anyone else regarding this matter," a representative for Stallone told Fox News. The alleged incident occurred in Las Vegas while the action star was filming the movie Over the Top, according to report. Do you remember the movie Over the Top?
No, with the
arm wrestling, and he would turn the hat around when he'd get his powers. That's when, he turned the hat around, he's about to break someone's arm off.
Yeah.
So Sylvester Stallone is accused of sexual assault. Here's my thing with all what's going on in Hollywood. It's a pendulum.
Yeah.
Every time it swings one way, it always swings back the other way. So, for example, when the LGBTQ the pendulum swung one way when the White House painted the White House in the rainbow colors.
Yeah.
And the LGBTQ was on top of the world. Then Donald Trump became president. The pendulum swung back.
Right.
I'm afraid that with all of this that's coming out against men now, the pendulum is swinging one way, and just like the Empire Strikes Back, I think men are going to strike back against women, and it's going to get ugly.
Could be. You could have something there.
There is something incredible, and I'm not saying good or bad, about a woman accusing a man of sexual assault and him losing everything before being found innocent or guilty. These men, most of them, a lot of them, have come out and apologized for what they've done.
Yeah.
So they deserve to lose everything.
I don't know. It's all. When are they going to say something to Arnold?
Schwarzenegger? What does Schwarzenegger do?
Schwarzenegger made the movie and said, "Yeah, I get the pump. It's like having an orgasm all the time. I have an orgasm with the women. I have an orgasm with the pump." All he did was think about sex all day long.
I guess there's nothing wrong with it as long as you don't. Tommy Lauren from Fox News, I can't believe I'm quoting her. She said, "Here's the key: don't mess with a woman who doesn't want to be messed with."
Yeah, I think
I don't understand why what was so difficult about these men touching women and messing with women without their consent.
Yeah, yes, I bet Adam didn't do any of that messing with him without consent.
I don't know, man, but a lot of I don't put it past anyone in Hollywood. If you are in Hollywood right now and you've been in Hollywood for the past 30 or so years, I don't put anything past you. They all should be stoned.
Stone them.
Just stone them and start from scratch because it's just too many now. But
it isn't, and I don't know. A lot of these women coming forward, some of them have to be gold diggers. I'm not saying all of them. Some of them have to be gold diggers. You know, maybe they were there at that time and said, "Oh, well, it's an opportunity because everybody's doing it, so it'll just become a big class action suit against this person, and I can get $1 million." You know, I'm sure there's somebody, a couple people doing that. That because it's. I just don't like that other woman with on Moore. She had just too much detail.
okay.
For that amount of time that elapsed. The detail was too exact. It's like you were really thinking about this that hard all those years and you had to wait till now and you're coming forward at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm skeptical on your what you're saying is what happened and stuff. Too much detail. You know?
Well,
And some of the stuff that they're saying is sexual assault. It's like, come on, slap that man's face. This is what that's called. That's not called sexual assault. That's called slap his face. You know, some guy, he looks at you and he says something that's nasty. Who are you talking to? You know, that's not, to me, that's like, why don't you just do that? Just, you know?
slap him in the face?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because their careers are on the line.
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot
I
of
know
these
that.
actresses work. You know, they're working their butts off just to get a slot in a play or a slot in a show or something. And they know that if they slap the most powerful men in Hollywood in the face, they'll never have a job again. So they can't.
But I mean, if they're calling sexual assault from a verbal abuse.
Yep.
And to me, that's like, no, if they reach out and grab you like that fool and Senator
Al Franken.
Franken, yeah, that's sexual assault.
Yes. There's a picture of him with his hands over the woman. He's done.
He's done. He should be done and stuff. Stone that rascal.
Stone him.
Stone them.
You know, that's what he needs.
But
you know, somebody who just said something stupid.
Yep.
Because they're at a party all licking up and stuff like that. Slap him.
Yep.
You know, or just please and just go away from. That's to me that doesn't warrant all the attention that it's getting and stuff. And I know, and if you're that sensitive about yourself and you're that weak about yourself to allow these things to happen just so you can get a job, you're in the wrong field.
Well, Leanne tweeted said it was time she told her story.
There you go.
And she's the one in the picture with the guy who has his hands.
That's Franken,
Al Franken.
Yeah.
And the first thing I want to do is apologize to Leanne, to everyone else who was part of that tour, to everyone who has worked for me, to everyone I represent, and to everyone who counts on me to be an ally and supporter and champion of women, Mr. Franken wrote. I respect women. I don't respect men who don't, he continued. And the fact that my own actions have given people a good reason to doubt that makes me feel ashamed.
Stone this rascal.
Stone them.
It's like, come on. You got all. Please, put that nonsense away. Give that nonsense to somebody who plays in a sandbox that wears diapers. It's like, there's nobody believing that.
He's all done.
It should be all done. It's like, come on, your apology's weak. And it's like your actions are speak loud. You got caught. You're stupid enough to have it get caught on film too. Bye bye. Bye bye.
You know the one person who I think should not have said anything about it but did, of course, is our Commander-in-Chief, President Donald J. Trump. President Trump, who has himself been accused of sexual harassment by multiple women and has refrained from weighing in on those accusations against Moore, wrote on Twitter late Thursday that the Al Frankenstein picture is really bad. Speaks 1,000 words. He spoke 1,000 words when he said he can't help himself. Grab him by the JJ, do what you want. I just start kissing them. He described raping someone.
Who? I think he was just talking gutter talk from the locker room.
Right, but even in the locker room talk, if I say, hey, you know what? When I'm around women, I just can't help myself. I just start kissing them and doing whatever I want. That's talking about raping someone.
Yeah, but it's not a but. I hear this stupid stuff in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the locker room, man. Got a bunch of naked white guys. I don't understand why white guys walk around naked in the locker room. What's up with that? Having conversations and stuff about all kinds of different topics and stuff, standing around naked.
Okay.
Please. I don't understand it. I never was and to me it's like, well, maybe you got some sexual issues or something like this and I think, well, if they do this in the locker room,
mm-hmm.
what will they do out there at a party where they think they can get away with stuff? I don't get this nigga stuff in the locker room.
So, my question is I know some men who have done, I know men who have beaten up women, who have physically assaulted women.
I know them.
Oh yeah, you do. You and I both know someone commonly who has hit women before, who has yanked a woman up by her hair, who has physically assaulted women. A couple of people. And now they would never be caught dead doing anything like that. They would kill if they saw another man doing that.
Yeah.
Should they be forgiven for their past if they are no longer like that?
They should be forgiven for their past. They should make a serious heartfelt apology to the woman that they beat up, and they whether the forgiveness comes or not, they should take it apart. They should do what's necessary for them to make amends for what the evil that they did. Now, whether it's reciprocated by the person or not, that's not on them. They can't control the behaviors of that person. But they should make a heartfelt apology, not these off-the-wall apologies that we're hearing all over the place. A heartfelt apology to that person, and something that tearful or anything like that, and then that's on the person whether they want to forgive him or not. If the person says, I'll never forgive you, then at least you went about and made amends, and then you can go on with your life.
Should they face charges for it?
I don't know about the charges for it. If the person brings charges, then they have to face charges. I mean, even with the apology, if the person that they assaulted and stuff brings charges against them, then they have to face the charges. Because they broke the law. That's an assault. There's a law that's broken. We live in a civil society, and we have to maintain order through laws. So yeah, they would have to stand accountable for their law, for their actions and stuff.
So first it was Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein, then Alabama Republican Roy Moore, that's right.
Stone
him.
Then comedian Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Then discussions of Bill Clinton's passing. You know Bill Clinton.
Oh, they're bringing up Bill Clinton for. I heard that too on the news, and some lady said. She said, and yeah, these type of things really destroy a woman's opportunity to be successful in life. And then she said Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. It made Monica Lewinsky.
It made Monica Lewinsky?
Books, speaking engagements, all these things that regular people don't even think exist. Monica Lewinsky would have never had those opportunities. Is it fair? Is it just? Am I saying it in any negative way? No, I'm only saying to that person, that news person who brought up Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky as an example of how this destroys somebody's life. Do your homework, lady. Not in that case.
Yep.
You know, that's just a simple not in that case.
Right. And to think, just last week he was lecturing anyone who would listen about sexual harassment and respect for women. That's what Donald Trump said about Franken.
Yeah.
I don't know, Troop.
It's tricky.
Yep.
I know I got foolish friends. They're dead now. I mean, they kill people and put them in dumpsters in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rob banks, all kinds of stupid. I got friends that are priests and in the clergy and all this business people and stuff like that there. But I don't have friends that assault women and go around grabbing little girls.
Mm.
You know, I don't have friends that do that. Maybe they do and I don't know about it, you know?
Yeah. Well, one thing I do know is I know people who have been sexually assaulted, and you never forget those things. Those things you pretty much stick with you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's how they can remember a lot in detail of what happened.
Yeah, my wife knows a few women who were sexually assaulted by mostly family members.
Yep, that's a big problem.
Yeah, it's like so you got to address the real problem.
Yep.
You know, if it's in the family, there was a clue someplace going on.
Yep.
Know? And you just missed it.
All right, Troop, I think what we're going to do is we'll take a break, and then we'll be back on Truth It in the AM.
And we'll stone some more people.
Stone them.
I like stone. Yeah.
Are you a manufacturer?